Two big guys going at it, boy.
This is a big guy battle. Wow.
Well, an advantage for the Ranger. Remke had no helmet for Johnston, so those punches are going to hurt a little more when they land.
Let them go.
One guy 6'7". How big's Johnston? 6'5".
No, I think he's 6'7" also. Yeah, that's pretty good size.
Welcome to the Instigators Hockey Show. I'm Paulie D. He's Chris Katsopoulos. Oh, he's over there. Oh, no, wait. He's right there. See him in the corner? There he is.
Yeah, underneath that. Who's that guy there again? Who's that guy above me? Never heard of him.
All righty. Well, it's been a while. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's.
Yeah.
It's been,
It has been a while. It has been a while. Paulie's been doing too much work lately.
Yeah, well, that shit's got to stop, huh?
Hey, it sucks, but poverty is worse, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I got a little bit of a chest cold here, but
You should be up here. It's 14 degrees right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm going to be in the big Detroit this weekend. It's going to be crazy because the Lions and the Wings are playing, so it's going to be fun.
If there's one memory I wish I could wipe out, is that I had to do with the Detroit.
I got my Wings Katsopoulos jersey, too.
You don't even know what number I wore there, do you?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, yeah? What number?
It wasn't number 24, that's for sure.
Okay, so there we go.
Was it 23?
I'm not telling you.
Wait a minute. I remember seeing it. It wasn't even close. It was like 8 or something, wasn't it?
No, you're way off.
Am I?
Way off.
All right, I'm going to find it now.
If any of those jerseys are still hanging around, you have my okay to cut them up and use as rags.
No, I will pay double for it.
No, you can use it. Wipe your car, wipe your ass, do whatever you want with it.
Wheeler is not the problem. Oh, we're starting already.
Hey, by the way, Michael, it's not Lily Pond. It's Lily Pad, Hopper.
What hops on a lily pad? I wonder.
I don't know. You get one guess.
It's hilarious. Fucking hilarious. We digress around here, I promise. Well, man, I tell you.
There's 3 games on tonight, right? One of them got canceled. One of them got canceled.
There's a couple of games on. There's been a lot of hockey been played. We got a lot to talk about. I tell you, I thought it was bad being a Ranger fan. It's got to be really bad being a Leafs fan right now.
Oh, yeah. They've gone back to what I've always said. They have probably one of the most skilled lineups anywhere in the league, and yet the same problems they have is what they've had over the last 10 years. They can't play defense, and they can't keep the puck out of the net. Plain and simple.
Gots, they can't play with a lead either, apparently.
Well, what can I tell you? If you can't keep the puck out of your net and you got all this offensive skill, what good's all this offensive skill? They got too much of one thing and not enough of the other. They don't have a foundation of a goaltender, which they've tried, but they've never been able to find the right remedy for that. And defensively, I mean, they've changed their D a couple of times, like bringing in guys last year, this year that are new. And yet there's a couple of guys that have been there a while, too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I have no idea, Paulie. I don't understand how you could have such a talented team and not understand defense in hockey. And that's what's killing the Leafs right now. It's killed them over the years. I thought they came with a breakthrough last year, getting past Tampa in the first round. Right now they're struggling. Now, I'm not saying they're not going to make the playoffs, and I'm not saying there can't be a dangerous team in the playoffs, but you're not going far if you don't play defense. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. Not good stuff. Good stuff. So we'll start. We're going to start there anyway. We're going to start with who's hot and who's not. Obviously, we're talking about Toronto. They're not hot, and there's a lot to be done there, like you said, defensively. How do you have all that power and you can't? And you're struggling to win games. And like we said, games that were leading, you were up 3-0 against Colorado. They up 2-0 last night against Winnipeg against the Oilers team. You would think, but not so much. Not good. So,
I think the stat goes. Their last 11 games, they've lost 5 games where they had comfortable leads.
Yeah, that's concerning more than anything else.
You can't do that.
No,
you can't do that. And how do you blame a coach on this one? I find that hard to believe. You can't blame the coach. You as a player on the ice should understand the fact that, hey, there's a defensive side to the game.
Yeah.
It's not all about O. O wins you the games, but defense also wins you the games too.
Yeah.
And the Leafs haven't figured it out. They haven't figured it out since 1967, so think about it.
So
I hate to tell you, my Leaf fans and my former hometown, but it's been a long time.
Cops, what are they going to have to do trade deadline wise?
I think they need a goaltender. I think and I think they need to basically get a few more guys that understand the defensive side of the game. That includes the forwards. You might have to take away some of that offense, add a defensive grinder. You got plenty of offense on that team. You got plenty of guys that can score on that team. Okay?
Yeah.
Even their young guys are up and coming, like Nyes and all these guys, Camp and all that stuff. I mean, these guys can put the puck in the net too. And Robertson. But I think
Tavares scored his 1,000 point last night. Didn't he get 1,000 points last night?
I don't know last time, but I know he hasn't scored. He hasn't done anything in 5 games. Like I looked at it too. He hasn't done anything. He hasn't scored a goal in like 4 or 5 games. So that's a big thing, for Tavares, because he's not the highlight guy anymore there.
No,
but he's supposed to be the calm, steadying influence guy.
He's on the 3rd line, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about, so let's move over to the other side of the Canadian.
Hey, Barry, how was your trip out to Vegas? Were you in Vegas, Barry?
Oh, you went to Vegas, Barry, huh?
I think he was there. I'm not positive.
I was supposed to go in March, but I'm not going.
Well, you're on holidays more than you are at work, and no wonder why we don't get a regular show.
Wait a minute. I was going for work and I got out of it.
You're in Vegas. You're here. You're there.
I travel sometimes.
Now you're heading to the Motor City.
Well, that's leisure. It's a weekend though. Cots, talk about your surprise over there. We were talking about before.
Yeah. Well, where do you want to start? The East or the West?
No, I want you to stay in Canada and go with those Vancouver Canucks.
Oh,
Do you think they're a real threat?
Absolutely. Rick Tocchet's done a fantastic job. I think he took over the team partway through the season last year, and you can see the improvement towards the end of the season. They didn't make the playoffs, but this year, I mean, think about it. They're tied for first place in the West with another team that is kind of surprising too, Winnipeg. But I got to give Vancouver the number one biggest surprise out West right now. I got Peterson, JT Miller. You got Quinn Hughes. These guys are playing well, and they look like a solid team. And they went on the road, Paulie, and I think outside one game, they won every game in their last road trip, which was like a 5 or 6 game road trip,
including beating the New York Rangers.
Yeah, and quite handily they beat the Rangers. So
yes, they did.
I think they're the biggest surprise out West, and I might as well go right to it. I'll give you the biggest disappointment is the Minnesota Wild, as far as I'm concerned. They've had a revolving door of head coaches there. Boudreaux, Dean Evison. I don't even know who coaches them now. All in the last, 3 years?
Yeah.
And they suck right now. They really do. So that to me is the biggest disappointment out west right now. I don't know. What do you think what do you think about my picks? You got somebody different that you like there?
Well, I like your picks, but I will say the biggest surprise for me, I told you before, was the Winnipeg Jets. I don't know where the frick they came from. And they're winning by committee. Like you said, they have the best plus minus. But
goals for, goals against, they're plus 44 right now.
I mean,
the highest in the league.
They are, first of all, they're tied for number one overall in the entire NHL, as I look.
Tied with
the Islanders last night.
Tied with Vancouver, though. Both have 62 points.
Yeah. But, well, hold on here. I mean, I don't know. Disappointment-wise, I mean, I still got to say, I thought Edmonton would be a little bit more where
but you can't pick. I can't pick them right now. I knew you were going to go there because they were really horseshit at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, but they are 11 in a row now, so
they're basically in a playoff spot right now.
Yeah,
so, and
I just thought that they would be somewhere else.
Well, they were another team though, Paul. They're kind of like a mirror image of the Toronto Maple Leafs. All go and no breaks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Defending your end, and I think since Knobloch, the assistant coach or the coach of Hartford, that they pried away from New York.
Right.
Since they got him, you go look at their goals against average. It's come way down. You know, like it's not like it was pre-Knobloch coaching. So, and that's what I was preaching on back then. I thought their defense was overrated. I still think there's a couple guys on that team, that backstop there for Edmonton that I think are overrated defensively, but somehow they pulled together. And when you got that kind of talent, you start playing good defense. There you go, 11 games in a row. I mean, that's hard to do in today's National Hockey League, to win 11 in a row, and they've done it. Yeah. They're going to be trouble if they continue to play this way. They're going to be trouble.
Yeah. Well,
your disappointment now. What about your disappointment? Was Edmonton your disappointment?
Well, I mean, yes and no. I mean, with the 11-game winning streak, I mean, they're getting there, but I thought they would be a little bit better. I mean, I would say I would have to either go with you with, St. Louis, Minnesota. Seattle started off terrible. Then they got into a hot streak, and they took, they shit the bed.
They lost 2 in a row after they won 9, so I wouldn't say they crapped the bed.
Yeah, well, they shit the bed early. I mean, they're still.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But what's going on with LA? They were so hot. They were the hottest team in the league, not even a month ago.
Yeah.
And now they can't string together any wins.
Well, they had a pretty good win last night. I think they beat a pretty good team. I can't remember who they beat, but they beat somebody really good last night.
I can tell you right now.
I think it was like 5-2 or something like that. You got it? Yeah, they lost.
The Stars kicked their ass last night, 5-1.
It was a couple of nights ago they had a good win. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
But they're a strange team. I mean, there was a time where they were in first place out west, and my good old pal Mark Osborne, who now scouts for LA, was giving me the business about why I'm such a big Ranger fan instead of a Toronto fan and all this stuff. And maybe I should contact him now and say, hey, Ozzy, maybe your scouting sucks right now. Ozzy's a good guy. So I'll let you know. Mark Osborne's a really good guy, good player, good team.
What about the Flames? Did we have better expectations for the Flames?
Well, we did a couple years ago when they made the big trade, and like Huberdeau was coming off like a close to 100-point season.
Right.
And since then, has that guy gone backwards?
Yeah.
I mean, he's gone backwards big time. He struggles to get offense any night, let alone some nights.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they've kind of crept back into it too, though, Paulie. I'm not positive if they're in a playoff spot, but they're right there, like a game or two away, or maybe they are one of the two. But
No, they're still at the bottom of the heap here.
oh, if you look at them, like take a
You're
look
right.
at number 8.
They're fifth in the Pacific.
Okay, but number 8 is the final playoff spot. So.
Yeah, and they're tied with the Kraken with 47 points, but they're only 2 points behind Edmonton at 49.
And who's in 8th place? I think Edmonton, or Edmonton's in 7th place, I believe.
Let's see here. Nashville's hanging on by a tooth, huh?
Yeah. It's going to be fun. We're over halfway through the season now. It's going to be fun to see who holds on, who can.
I know your favorite part of the year. You know the All-Star game's coming. I know you love that.
Listen, I think I might have a cramp in my ass. To watch that one.
So
I don't watch the All-Star game. It's not what it used to be. Sorry, folks, but just don't care.
Detroit was on fire for a while, and they cooled off a bit.
Well, yeah, they're okay though. I mean, they're in a playoff spot right now.
They've actually edged out Tampa Bay, which I think is a big disappointment in the East with all that power.
I don't think it's a disappointment. I called that.
Well, you did, but still, I mean, with the amount of players that they have, you know, we'll talk about it. I mean, Kucherov is the leading scorer in the game right now. Braden Point, Kucherov, Stamkos.
And Edmonton Oilers led the scoring every year for the last 9 years, and what they do?
You know, Vasilevsky has not been great either, though.
Too many wars, Paulie. Too many wars. They've gone to war too many times, the Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm not saying they're not going to make the playoffs, but I don't see them being in a final. That's all there is to it.
Well, to your chagrin and surprise, Pittsburgh and Washington both have 48 points. They're on the outside looking in, tied with the Islanders at 48. And your big disappointment out east, what are the New Jersey Devils?
Well, I think one of our earlier shows this year, they had such a great season last year that I told you. And I told the people listening that they will not be teams won't be taken by surprise this year with them. I did say that in one of the early shows this year. In other words, teams will be ready to play the Jersey Devils this year. And right now, the Devils are not in a playoff spot. Not saying, it's still a long time to go, but they went from a top 3 team last year to middle of the pack and just below the middle of the pack right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is what it is, Paulie. What you did last year means absolutely nothing this year.
Right.
But how about the biggest surprise in the East? Paulie might take a break here, folks, just for a second. Wait, go get yourself a beer.
Yeah.
My biggest surprise in the East is Uncle Vinny, John Tortorella's Philadelphia Flyers. They are in second place behind the New York Rangers right now in that division, and I believe they're in 4th overall in the East right now. What do you got to say about Uncle Vinny and the turnaround that he's put into the Philadelphia Flyers?
No comment.
You can't even do a turnaround. Hey, Uncle Vinny, teach him how to do a turnaround.
No comment.
Hey, Paulie, I did tell you that earlier. You got to admit it. I said to you, Uncle Vinny, John Tortorella, a.k.a. John Tortorella, has the ability to turn teams around when he first gets there. Now, he's got one Stanley Cup in Tampa. You know what I mean? Came, close a couple times with other teams, especially the Rangers that one year. Should have got there, but they lost to Jersey. Anyhow, he does a good job, Paulie. Now, does he end up winning? I don't know, but you got to give him props for what he's done in Philly so far. We're halfway through the season, and they're contending right now. Silence out of my partner in crime.
They will fall off.
I
guarantee.
What's that?
They're going to fall off right after the All-Star game.
That's so easy to say, though. How about the other? Let's go player-wise, biggest disappointment. What happened to your boy, the Great Ape? Huh?
Oh, jeez.
What happened to him?
Yeah, I don't know, man. He's getting old and he's hurt now. Right?
Oh. Funny how Crosby's like got 26 goals and got 46 points, but Alex Ovechkin has what?
Well,
What has he got? 9 goals, 8 goals, 7 goals. I don't know what he's got.
I mean, you don't want to talk about goals between Crosby and Ovechkin, though.
No, we'll just talk gold medals, Stanley Cups, all that stuff instead. How's that? World Junior Championships.
I know, but
I think it's like 12-1. Ovechkin's got his 1 Stanley Cup, and Crosby's got like 12 other championships, including 3, count them 3 Stanley Cups. Same era, same time as Ovechkin. So you got nothing to stand on there, big boy.
Listen, you don't want bringing up goals.
Well, I have to bring it up because you're one of the ones that's cheering on. That he's going to break. You told me he's going to break Gretzky's record. That's a guarantee and all this stuff. You told me that last year. You told me that this year.
Well, I don't know that I guaranteed it.
Yeah, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
I guaranteed it. Damn.
Absolutely.
Well, now I have to win this.
Well, he's going to have to play another 5 years at the rate he's going.
Well, he just might.
Well, good. Then he'll look good as a 44-year-old out there stumbling around.
Oh, man. I love it. Oh, boy. All right. Well, I was very disappointed today. I read in the news today that the Lightning's brass has commanded that they will not be dealing Stamkos this year. He will not be traded. Now, I mean, everybody's tradable, I guess, at some point, but I was really hoping they were going to trade him this year.
Yeah, I remember, you've been talking about it quite a bit all year. I was kind of poo-pooing it. I didn't think they're going to trade him in the first place for one reason only, Paulie. He's still producing. Yeah. It's not like he's not producing.
Right.
It's not like he's turned into a 20-goal scorer. He's still going to on his way close to a 40-goal season again. You know what I mean? So when you're producing and you are the fixture there that brought Tampa outside of Vinny Lecavalier, I'll give Vinny Lecavalier props, okay? But Stamkos is probably just as the number one guy.
Yeah.
When it comes to Tampa's legend of players.
Yeah. No doubt, man. No doubt. I really, I wanted to see him in Ranger red, white, and blue. To be honest, I know you said if he was going to go anywhere, it would have been Toronto, but
yeah, he'd probably go back to his hometown. But then at least with that, like 6 guys that are all offense, no defense.
Yeah. So there's a couple other things I want to do, but I do want to. I kind of want to talk about. Do you see anyone right now? Let's talk trade deadline because it's not as far as everyone thinks it is, and I would imagine. We're talking about all these teams that have, expectations like Toronto. I mean, when the fuck are they going to pull a trigger and make a deal? Do something.
They're in the same situation as the New York Rangers, Paulie. They're up against a tight cap space to start with, so you got to have a proper deal that works for both clubs when it comes to the money part of it, not just the talent part of it. So for the Leafs, if I was the Leafs, I'd be looking for a goaltender. Honestly, I'd be looking for a tried and true goaltender. Put all your money in that. Maybe add a real good defensive defenseman if you can. And if you have to give something up, some of the youth up, or maybe a Mitch Marner, you have to. Much like, I'm sure we'll get into it. It's like the Rangers too. They're in a cap situation too, and there's a couple pieces I would like to see, but we'll talk about the Rangers in a little while. But that's what I would do if I was Toronto Maple Leafs. I'd be looking for a tried and true goaltender right now and a solid, stay-at-home, rugged defenseman.
Well, you look around the league, right? You look at the teams like Ottawa not doing good. You look at the worst team in the league with the San Jose Sharks. The Ducks kind of suck. So there's some teams out there. You got to kind of like start scouting what's what are they willing to get? What are they willing to give up? Isn't Radko Gudas over there in Anaheim?
Yes, he is.
He's a guy I'd like to see.
You're funny that you brought that up because I was thinking about that the other day. I was watching him play, and he's not great at one thing. He's very good at a lot of things.
And he's got
In
to
other
be.
words, he's a physical guy, plays good defense, and he's not as bad as everybody thinks with the puck handling and contributing in the offensive side once in a while.
I think he'd look good in the red, white, and blue jersey.
Yes, I would. I would agree with you with that. He would be perfect. He'd probably be a real good fit with the New York Rangers, but it's up to the Rangers. What are you going to give up for him? You got a couple. You got a couple guys. You got a couple guys that.
Zach Jones. You want me to keep going?
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I think the Rangers, they have no need for Zach Jones. You already have, we'll talk about the Rangers. We'll talk about Fox. We already have small defensemen. That fucking back line has to get bigger. And we've been talking about this for fucking 15 years, I think. Like, when the fuck is the light going to go on to somebody? I loved Ben Harper last year when they played him as the seventh defenseman. Was it last year, Cots? They kind of brought him in and out.
Yeah.
They struggled. They were up against the cap like you spoke about. They went out. They got some big tools. Big Ben Harper back there wasn't so horrible. I know you said he was hurt down in Hartford, right?
Yeah, he's out for the year. He's got a neck.
He's done. I wouldn't mind giving up a Zach Jones. I don't think the Rangers need another type Zach Jones type guy. I don't think they need another small defenseman. I think small, quick defensemen are a little easier to have than what they need. They need a big, burly, ugly, in-your-face, cross-check you in the mouth, get the fuck out of here type of guy. And I'm sick and tired of talking about it and watching this. And I'm just going to go here because I'm getting on my rant.
Go for it, big boy.
I have watched, and I know you have your pet peeve, and I know we'll talk about it because it has to be talked about. But I've watched Keandre Miller just disappoint me game after game after game. I'm so tired of the stick check. Drive somebody into the fucking boards, kid. Please. One guy, just drive him into the fucking boards instead of doing this with the reach. I get it. You got the reach. You might as well just play, just put him on the front line. He'd be better as a forward, I think. I'm tired of the reach and the poke check. Fucking use that big frame and do some work, man. Because when you get caught just slightly behind, you're big enough to wrap somebody up. Get in their way physically, not with just the stick. It drives me nuts. So, not that I would give up Keandre Miller straight up for Radka, but talk to me. What do you got? You got a pick? You want to go somewhere else? I wouldn't mind moving Keandre Miller for a Radka and somebody and a possibility. I really wouldn't mind it. I'll just be honest. That's just how I feel. I'm sick and tired of watching this team back end. Trouba does all the hitting. There's only so much one guy can do. And he's not the biggest guy in the world. He's a big, strong guy, not afraid to drop the gloves. But they need that. I'm going to break your face defenseman in front of the fucking net. They need that. They're missing that. There's plenty of offense back there on the back line. I think Gustafsson has been a great addition. The guy, he's sound. I think he's been a fantastic addition. I hope that they signed him for a long deal. Schneider, I think, is coming to his own. I'd like to see him be a little more physical, but I think they're good there. I think they just need a big body, ugly, in your face, I'm going to kill you kind of guy. And that's why, I watched was looking at a couple of teams. You know, I keep hearing things like, oh, well, Anthony Duclair. The Rangers don't need to go to Anthony Duclair, folks. That's not what the New York Rangers need. Okay? They need Chris Kreider to get off his fucking ass, though. Okay? I'm going to say it. Ranger fans, I know you're probably going to be mad at me, and I really don't care because the true Ranger fans see it. He's lazy. He's lazy in the offense, and he's lazy in the defensive zone. And if it's not the power play with the tipping, what's he doing 5-on-5? He doesn't take the body. He's one of the biggest guys, strongest guys on the team, and he shies away from more checks than fucking Adam Fox does. I'm going to take a minute. Go ahead.
You make some good points. If you look at a roster and you look at the physicality side of the roster, how tall, the weight of the player, we'll start on the back line. K'Andre Miller should be a beast physically with his size. But he's not. Let's call it what it is. He's just not. It's not in his DNA. It's pretty obvious after 4 years. He just doesn't have that ability to be that kind of player. I mean, I wish he would. I'm not going to argue with people saying that he lacks in that department because he does. He should be a beast because the skill set that he has outside of that could make him a superstar defenseman. And what makes superstar defenseman? Not only is you got to be able to skate, you got to be able to handle the puck, you got to have a good shot, but sometimes you have to have a little intimidating factor where players don't want to come at you as fast as they normally would.
Right.
I don't see that with him. Players go at him, they go at him hard. Now, the other side of the ice, Trouba does have that ability, okay? And there's times where Trouba's, he's a little up and down with his game, but I can't blame Trouba at all for anything lacking physicality-wise, Paulie, because
right.
He's the only guy in the league right now that has over 100 hits and 100 block shots. Okay? That's hard to do.
Right.
Now, Schneider, I still have a lot of faith in him, but he needs to turn up the notch on his being an aggressive hitter a little bit more. I don't think his physicality is at the level that I would like to see it at. So technically, they have a couple of guys, and that includes K'Andre Miller, that has they have the size for it, Paulie. But the two that I just mentioned, Schneider and K'Andre Miller, they need to step it up, or you have to do something eventually. You have to do something and get that guy we're talking about. Because if teams are not afraid to go into your corner and not afraid to go in front of the net, and that, yes, folks, that's still part of the fucking game, whether people want to hear it or not. It's not like it used to be back when I played, but it's still part of the game. The intimidating factor. I don't want to go in the corner with this guy because this guy's nothing but trouble. Okay? You can still see that throughout the league with certain players. Up front now, and I know you didn't address up front, we do have that physical guy in Will Cooley who likes to hit. You got to get but he's also right now. I think he's still in that like I think he wants to do more, but he's in that rookie phase where he's still a little bit submissive. You know what I mean? Like to the guys ahead of him. As for Kreider, I've been saying since how many times have I told you, Paul? Since he drilled that guy in Washington in Madison Square Garden about 8 years ago, 9 years ago, it's been 10 years maybe now. He got that 5-minute major for nailing a guy. And since then, he's never really hit a guy like that since. And you're right. He is capable of being a physical force. And the part I don't understand is here's a guy that's 32 years old that's a veteran. And he's basically a Ranger legend, whether people want to hear it or not. He's going to be considered a legend in history of the New York Rangers. When things aren't going good for you on 5-on-5, and you have the attributes to be a physical player, then why not do it? Nobody's going to bother Chris Kreider. Trust me. Nobody's going to bother him.
Agreed.
Okay? Nobody's going to bother him at all. He might have to drop his gloves once in a while, but overall, not many will. Okay? And I look at the rest of the forwards, and Vinny Trocheck's abrasive, and he takes the body. Barclay Goodrow takes the body, but they're not big menacing forces. The only two guys that could be menacing forces up front are Will Cooley and Chris Kreider, that are technically capable of going into any corner on any player in the league and coming out a winner. Is what I'm talking about. And I'd like to see Kreider get a little bit more involved, but it is what it is right now, Paul. There's not much you can do about it.
Yeah.
I think, I'm going to go back to it. They need a forward and they need a defensive. They both have to have the same attitude, same attributes. I'm going to kick the shit out of you when I go to the boards with you. I'm going to win every fucking battle. You're not going to fucking pull the wool over my eyes. I'm not going to let you get the last shot in. I'm not going to let you get the last shove in after a whistle. That kind of guy. When you got those kind of guys, that makes the other team think a little bit more. Wow. Until that happens, I mean, just go look at all the Stanley Cup winners in the last 10 years, and I guarantee you they had those kind of players on the back line, and they had those kind of players on the front line.
I love Will Cooley, man. He is by far my favorite rookie right now. That kid, I watch him every shift, man. I'm always rooting for the kid. He really does everything he can to make sure he makes contact. He's making contacts 2-3 times a shift, man. I think finally Laviolette's found a home for Wheeler on that line. I tell you, man, I still would like to see, and I get it, it's first year, so I think Will Cooley has an upside, and I really would like to see him, higher up, man. I wouldn't mind to see him spot in on the first line. They really didn't give that a chance with Mika being healthy yet. I know Kakko's back, and I will say the last 2 games I really noticed him on the defensive side of the puck. He's the guy who gets you the couple extra seconds in the zone. He's strong on his feet. He's strong with the puck. Obviously, we're still looking, are we still looking for that great upside offensively from him? But he does play both sides of the puck pretty damn well. He's very strong, and I noticed him in his last 2 games. But Will Cooley, man, I just feel like I just want to see this kid get a little more offensive opportunity.
I agree, but again, I think I've talked to you quite a few times off the show. And he's just gonna have to wait his time, Paulie. It's the way it goes. It's the way it goes in the National Hockey League today. It's not like the good old days. When I say the good old days, when we weren't getting paid the money they're getting paid today. When you got your top 4 or 5 guys that are locked up in long-term contracts and getting paid the most money on the team, you're not dropping them down to the 3rd, 4th line, Paulie. Yeah. It's just not happening. You know what I mean? So Will Cooley's just got to bide his time, continue to do what he can for the ice time that he gets, and his time will come.
He is.
Because I've said it to you, and I've said it to the people on the show, and I've talked to some of my former Ranger buddies. It's now or never for the Rangers, I think, this year. I believe that because you got the core of your stars or your top players are all in their 30s now, Paulie. They're all in their 30s outside of Adam Fox. And Adam Fox is not a young 24 anymore. He's like 27 now.
That's exactly why I'm as critical on this team as I am. Because I know the window is this big.
Yeah.
It's this fucking big. You don't have a 3, 4, 5 year window.
No.
This is now. This team has got to do it now. This year and next year are your times. Because your stars, your Panarins, your Trochecks, your Mika Zibanejad, You're Chris Kreider. I'll be honest with you, Ranger fans. I'd trade Chris Kreider at his value right now. I would. I'm just telling you. The right deal, I would trade Chris Kreider. He's not tradable to me. Think about when the Rangers won the Cup. Tony Amonte, Doug Weight, Mike Gartner, they all got shipped off. For who? For Brian Dunans. Don't get me wrong. They did get Steve Larmer. But Matos, Dunans, and Steve Larmer
Noonan.
got shipped off. Huh?
Noonan.
Yeah, what did I say?
Dunans.
I'm
listening. I got to let her out.
But I'm just telling you. I'm just talking, man. This is the window. This is the time. This team doesn't have much longer. It's this year and next year to make your appearance and to hoist that Stanley Cup, man. First of all, you're not chock full of, first-round picks after this, first of all. Second of all, like Kotze said, your young guys are getting there. They're going to start hitting contracts. You're going to start – this is the time, man. This is the time. That's why I'm so critical on this team, because I know the window is this big. And I just want perfection at this point, because I need a Stanley Cup. It's 85 fucking years, dude. I saw one cup in my life. My father died and never saw a cup. It's one cup in 80 years, 84 years. It's time. You're due. And this is the team to do it. Everyone keeps talking. I got him in my notes. I talked about Kakko. I'm happy to see him back. I do think he adds. Hopefully he spurs this line. Mika. Mika Zibanejad. The power play. Two things I want to talk about. I think Mika's starting to get into his rhythm again. I think, and then, then he caught the flu and it kind of brought him back. But Mika, this power play is going to go as Mika goes. Obviously Panarin, we'll talk about Panarin, Trocheck, and Lafreniere in a minute, because they're all the way up here right now. They are carrying, loading this team, scoring, the majority of the goals, making the difference. That we know that they're definitely the best line on the team. But you got to look at Mika. Mika is such an important part. Mika, Kakko, if he's going to be the guy, and Kreider, that line has got to really start to create outside of the power play. Okay? Because if you look at Mika and you look at Kreider, their 5-on-5 play all year long has been subpar. Okay? So that they have got to start to contribute in the goal scoring area and making this team really kind of escalate to the next level. I'd like them, like they started the year. I want them to look back and see a bunch of people in the back, because it's this year or next year, and that's all you got. The window's closing.
Well, I listen. I agree with you. I've said to you long ago, this team goes as Zibanejad goes, because when he's on, he's the best two-way player on the team. Okay. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He plays, he back checks, and he can play offensively. But
yes.
When you get to guys like Kakko and Lafreniere, I can't tell you how much I want them to do good, but we got to tap down our expectations on these guys now. I mean, as long as they're New York Rangers right now, please tap it down. They're not going to be what they were drafted at. That's pretty obvious. And it's not a knock on them. It's just the way it goes sometimes. Okay? But just tap down the expectations a little bit. Don't compare them to who else got drafted number 2 and who else got drafted number 1. Because if that's the case, then why aren't they shitting on Slavkovsky or whatever his name is in Montreal, who was number 1 overall? They're still playing him and still think he's got a bright future. You know what I mean? He's got 6 goals this year. So let's knock that shit off for once and all. Let them be who they are and what they are. And I will give you a little tidbit that I didn't tell you at the beginning. There will be a Filipino return this year. You know that, right?
Practicing with Jaromir Jagr, hey?
But there's more to it. He'll be back sooner than you think, from what I hear.
Really?
Yeah. So You know, and people that watch this show and listen to this show know that he's my pet peeve.
And
But
rightfully so.
I got a feeling he's going to be back, and if they put him, if he's back and he's healthy, and they put him on the right line and tap down the expectations of him, which I will tap down as well, then you got some pretty possible, formidable third, fourth liners now to put together.
Right.
I think right now with the Rangers, people get all overexcited when they lose. People get, like, including you, because you went on quite a rant there on Facebook a couple days ago.
Yep.
Let's put it all in perspective. I don't think anybody expected them to be where they were from the beginning of the year. That being said, they rocked for the first probably 35 games or so. They've kind of backed off the last 8 or 10. They're still in good position. They still got a good tandem in goaltending, as good as anybody's in the league, even though they've both had off nights lately, but they still got that. I just wish I'd see a little bit more concentration on the defensive side. That includes Adam Fox. Start playing defense a little bit more rather than offense. I mean, it just has to be done. When things aren't going good for you offensively, you got to concentrate on that kind of stuff. Same thing with the forwards. I'm not gonna mention any of them, but the power play was kind of like struggling there. They got one last night, but hey, if we're not scoring on the power play, then let's make sure we pick up our players coming back into our own zone and playing better defense while you go through these slumps, while you go through these struggles scoring goals. There's one thing you can always do, Paulie, that you can't always do on offense. One thing you can do is you can play your proper defense, because playing proper defense means you don't have to have the puck.
Right.
Offense, you got to have the puck to score. You got to have the puck to do something offensively. Defensively, you don't need the puck.
And I tell you, when they do tighten up defensively, because they did a little bit last night.
They haven't over the last 10 or 12 games.
No, they haven't.
Open shots. There's been too many good chances from the slot area and right in front of the net. That's where they kind of backed off, regressed a little bit over the first 30-plus games. So just concentrate on the defensive side, and when everybody gets back healthy, I'm sure Lavalette's going to figure out a way how to fit guys in properly, and if Vito comes back, so be it. You know what I mean?
Cooley's a natural left winger, right? He's a left winger?
Cooley, yeah.
And Jimmy Vesey's a right winger, isn't he?
Oh, he's a left winger.
Is he?
Centerman left winger. Well, Jimmy Vesey played center in Harvard when I covered him with Quinnipiac.
I'd like to see Hedel with Vesey and Cooley.
Well, that's probably what might happen if he comes back. I got to bring the Queen back in. She's scratching at the door.
Oh, wow.
Yes, your favorite dog that you'll be seeing in a little while again.
Yeah.
From a distance.
Yeah. Where's Boss Man?
He's like Lisa's. Lisa's like the Pied Piper. Wherever she goes, he goes. Say hello to Uncle Paulie. She don't care.
No.
You don't give up.
She's rotten. I see you got the case all hooked up there in the background. I see. Hey,
just loaded with stuff.
You gotta go.
I'm still buying stuff all over the place. Look, all over the place. Still buying.
You're just a crazy guy.
Hey, you know what? I'm not a hoarder. I'm a collector.
All right, last thing I want to do, we'll finish up with Rangers here, but the last thing I want to talk about NHL-wise is I know there's a lot of discussion. I believe the Board of Governors meeting is going to happen. I think it's going to happen just after the All-Star break. And I want to keep everybody, in tune and up to date on. They're definitely the number one topic is what we've talked about. Checks that cause fights.
That's what I wrote. You saw what I wrote this week on Facebook. I'm fucking sick of it.
Yeah, that's the number one topic that's going into there. They're going to come up. They're going to establish some kind of ruling. The instigator. Well, I mean, and we talked about it. The officials already been told make sure you
It's-
institute the instigator.
It's the dumbest thing the NHL has ever done. Okay, and I called them out on Facebook a week ago about it when Lindgren hit the guy from Washington, got immediately attacked. Nowhere in that hit was it an illegal hit. Okay, and this is happening for the last how many years, Paul?
Yeah, it's been a few.
It's been a long time. Whose fault is this? This is not a player's fault. This is not a coach's fault teaching a kid from 6 years old and up. This is the NHL's fault. They stuck their head in the sand and allowed this shit to happen.
Yeah.
This is my rant now. Those guys in the front office there in Manhattan, you're the ones to blame for this garbage. They'll talk about my day when I played. Oh, it was out of control. It was the wild, wild west. It was this. It was that. There was fighting all the time, and it was cheap shots here and cheap shots. Bullshit. We never, ever, ever went after a guy unless it was the number one player on our team, possibly our number two player. But if you were 3, 4, 5, 6 all the way down to 18, you were on your fucking own. But everybody gets attacked today. Don't make this clean hit because you're going to get attacked immediately. I'm wondering now. I'm starting to wonder: are these players cognizant of that? Maybe I shouldn't hit this guy because I really don't want to turn around and have to fight somebody right away.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Think about this now. This is how stupid and out of control this crap's got. It's out of control. And what the remedy is probably going to have to be something I don't want, which is more rules on top of rules.
Automatic instigator.
Yeah, you're gone. See ya. Bye. You know? And yet, now you're going to get caught in a catch-22. What if somebody hits Panarin that way? How do you respond? What if somebody hits Fox that way? How do you respond?
It's going to come with a 2 and a 10, though. It has to have, if you get an instigator for this, you get 2 minutes, and then you get 10 minutes. The misconduct, that's what they're going to discuss with the governors. It's going to not only be a 2-minute penalty, it's going to be a 10-minute misconduct to go with it in this incident. So if you throw a check and have to defend yourself, again, there you can add, obviously, if they drop the gloves and they go after and you're fighting, you'll get 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So you're going to be sitting for 17 minutes.
Nobody from 1978 to 1990 when I played went after somebody that was hitting your 12th best player.
Right.
Or your 8th best player. Or your 4th best player. 1 and 2. That was it. And your goaltender, too. That's the other thing. We protected our goalies at all times. All you got to do is look at my second fight with Bobby Prober, which I didn't do very well, but I stepped up because nobody else would because he ran Kenny Reagan. I stepped up. My point is this. It's bullshit that a player whose game might be that intimidating factor that I can nail guys with body checks has to turn around and, holy shit, where's the next, who's coming at me now?
Right.
That's not the way the game should be played. And it's unfair to that kind of player who has that ability to have guys and hit guys with open checks, be stronger than the other guy when they collide. Now, a lot of those happen because the one guy's stronger than the other.
Right.
The other guy don't know how to hit as good.
Yeah.
It's just I see it all over, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Then again, now I'm going to kind of reverse it on you. If the league is going to respond the way the players are going to respond the way they've responded over the last 10, 12 years, why the fuck hasn't anybody gone out after Alex Ovechkin all those years? Explain that to me. He's the only guy that's untouchable. There's no answer, is there, from anybody? They got to get rid of this. They got to get rid of this shit, period. If it's a clean hit, it's a clean hit. You attack me, I think you should be thrown out now. I hate to say it, but I think you should be thrown out. not just 2 and 10, out of the fucking game. It's a clean hit.
I don't disagree with you.
I'm tired of it. I'm tired of seeing a guy that can't fight his way out of a wet paper bag go and attack somebody. Because that's what happens 9 times out of 10 now. It's usually some guy that's never had a fight in his life. Oh, I gotta go back. I gotta go stand up for my teammate now. Oh my God, I gotta go stand up for my teammate now. Because they're like monkey see, monkey do as they grow into the National Hockey League. They see this on TV. Oh, I better do this. Like Christ. I'm sick of it. I just get so turned off watching that crap now.
Yeah.
If we had to do that in our day, I mean, first of all, today they mark down hits like a brush bite. That's considered a hit. Okay, this guy had 7 hits today. In our day, a hit was a hit. When he got marked down, I might have had 10 collisions that night, which today would be marked as 10 hits.
Right.
Maybe 2 or 3 of them were pretty good hits, at most. That means I would have had 3 fights that night today. How many fights would Wendell Clark have? You ever seen a video of Wendell Clark's hits?
Yeah.
Like, he just destroyed guys. First of all, how many guys would attack Wendell Clark today? Probably none. Because they know he kicked the shit right out of them. It's such a stupid thing that's going on. And these players are just mimicking and, monkey see, monkey do with it the way it is, Paulie. I understand the protecting of your team, but there's a point of, like, okay, you got hit with a clean check there. What do you want me to do about it now? You didn't have your head up. You were unprepared. So I'm supposed to defend you now?
Yeah. I get it, man. So that's why they're addressing it. And then the other thing they're going to address is they're readdressing, you're going to love this, the boarding. Boarding is the next on the agenda is going to be.
How are they going to fix that?
I don't know that they can. They're going to fix it because they're going to be able to now, they're going to fucking review it. And the discussion is review on a boarding, which they do now anyway. But it's going to depend if the player turns into the check or out of the check. It's going to depend where the player was in the motion of, where his numbers are. There's going to be a couple other factors that they have already. But I don't know. I think they're going to try to tweak that a little bit, not in writing as much as they are with with getting the officials to try to identify things through video review and what to really look for when they call the boarding. Because they feel like players are now purposely turning into the check.
Absolutely.
So they don't get checked.
Absolutely. Players aren't dumb. They're gonna take advantage of every stupid rule there is.
Right.
I'm gonna use it to my advantage.
So yeah.
I mean, you can't. I mean, I love that. I don't watch TNT or ESPN that much, but I love watching Mark Messier go off on this last week.
Yeah.
Did you see his rant? He's so right. I've been telling you this for years. There's so many things involved about not getting hit from behind that these players today don't even have a clue.
No, it's like,
hey, when you step on the ice, it could be 12 minutes to go in the second period. When it's your time to go for that shift, before you even hit the ice or that first stride you take, scan around and see who's on the ice and see who's capable of doing this shit to you, will you? Take a look around and see what kind of players are on the ice with you. That's number one.
You've always said that.
Number two, never, ever go into the boards straight.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit if you lose the puck. I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to get hit from behind.
Right.
And if you are caught on the boards, always have your body turned one way or the other, because when you hit me and I go like this to the boards, it don't hurt. It looks bad, but it don't hurt because it's absorbed by the boards.
Right.
But if you're going to go in like this,
and
I do agree with you, you're going to start doing this back and forth shit here where you're turning, and you're taking a chance.
Yeah.
The game's too goddamn fast, Paulie, for a guy to stop when he's 6 inches away from you.
Right.
And you decide to turn and show your numbers.
Right.
Up here, you got to know who the hell you're playing against. Which guys are capable of doing this? Like if I'm playing Panarin's never going to do that to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I would know that this guy's not. He would never do that to me. But geez, if Tom Wilson's on this, I'm not saying Tom Wilson deliberately goes out and does it, but you know Tom Wilson's going to want a piece of your ass. So you better be ready. Where the fuck is that guy? And make sure you know where he is at all times. But that rule is partly the league's fault, but I also blame the players as well.
Well, sure. Well, they're taught differently than you. You know, so many times, you know, you've said that. If you've said that one time, you've said it 10,000 times. Know who's on the ice with you. Keep your fucking head up. You know why you got your head down? These guys that are getting fucking destroyed by checks, it's because their fucking heads down. They're not even paying attention. Half of these guys, and then when you got your numbers to players behind you and you're flat up, what do you like? What do you expect? The game is moving. The game is constantly moving. They took the red line out. They made the game faster because they wanted more goal scoring. But they didn't understand that speeding up the game is going to cause more collisions, and then you're trying to make more rules.
I can give you a good example of the way it was when I played. We were in Montreal one night, and I was playing with the Hartford Whalers. It was a Hockey Night in Canada game back then, and I'm playing right defense, and I picked up the puck on my side of the net, and I came around the net, and I'll admit it, I didn't have my head up. And Ryan Walter, I don't know if you remember him, okay? He hit me with a clean, solid check that started here in my chest and obviously followed through like they all do. And he actually made me go like that. Where the feet came up, he flattened me. Did I get up and chase him? Ask me if I got up and chased him, you motherfucker, I'm going to kill you now. No. I said, you stupid whatever, Kotze, why the F did you keep your head up? Did I go after him to try to like hit him again? Absolutely. Did I not want to drop the gloves at the guy because of my stupidity? No.
Right.
This is a joke. It's a joke the way these kids are taught today. It's a joke the way the NHL referees. I mean, we can go on and on and on here. I know we're a little bit past. Boy, oh boy, I love these one-handed slashing calls now. Guy's got one hand on his stick and he taps a guy and it's a slash. I mean, it's gotten so feminine, whether people want to hear that word or not. A one-handed slash. I can see if the guy's doing this with his stick, but he's not. They're just going like reaching and tapping a guy. Well, that's a slash. Anyhow.
Canadians went ahead of the Devils and won the fucking hockey game 3-2.
Like the Canadians again.
Canadians beat the Devils. The Red Wings Panthers are tied with 2 minutes left, 2-2. Panthers were up in that game. Go Wings, go.
I don't know.
I think we should end this on a Ranger note. Koch, yes, last week, I'll cover this real quick. And everyone knows how critical I am. I was pissed, man. I'm still pissed off. I want the windows closing, but I'll just cover this real quick. I think what frustrated me the most was listening to how the Capitals had the second worst scoring in the league. They beat the Rangers. What was that game? 3-2 3-2. But Tom Wilson he had his way, man. He had his way. Ran into Lindgren a bunch of times. He just had his way, and I'm just so sick and tired of seeing that. And I tell you what, you can't. As much as I'm a Ranger fan, and I hate Tom Wilson because I'm a Ranger fan, you can't blame the guy. There's nobody going to stop him. And the guy can actually play hockey. He's a little demented inside, but he plays a good game. I mean, he plays a good game, but man, is he going to take liberties when he can find them?
Well, that makes him a smart player.
Yeah, I can't disagree with
that. He's got the size. He's a decent fighter when he has to be. He's got decent hands. He contributes offensively.
He does.
He plays the game hard. And if you're gonna lay down like a dog for me, I'm gonna take advantage of it.
I'm gonna bite, sure.
Damn right you are. And that's the way it's hockey. That part of hockey's always been that way. This goes back to my Keandre Miller thing. If Miller had a little bit of that bark, a little bit of that bite, he would be so much better because nobody's gonna want to go near the guy.
Right.
Nobody wants to go near Tom Wilson. You know that.
Right.
And when you look at the Ranger lineup, who's possible? Who can do it? They have not had a guy that police the other team since Colton Orr. Think about it.
Well,
Colton Orr's the last guy to cross-check Alex Ovechkin in the head that I ever saw. Cross-checked him right there in Madison Square Garden. Cross-checked him right in the head. Said, "Fuck you, Alex. Not taking your shit." Said, "Come on." To all the Washington guys. I'm just telling you how it goes. Tom Wilson, listen, we don't like him when he plays, but let me ask you a question. Boy, would he look good in the blue.
Who?
Tom Wilson.
Ugh.
Oh. He'd be an instant fan favorite if he was wearing a blue shirt.
Yeah, because he can play hockey. That's the bitch of it. The guy can play hockey. He's not, he's just not that guy. He can play, man. He's got some skill, man. He's got.
How did he get this? How did he get the room to work on his skill? Yeah. By being an intimidating force, Paulie.
Right.
That's how Rick Tocchet scored 50 goals in this league. Fought the shit out of everybody throughout the early mid 80s. There, he got room to play because guys weren't so eager to go near him. So he was able to work on his skill work. Same thing with Tom Wilson, guys. I almost had him, coach. I was almost there. That's how Tom Wilson did it, Paulie. That's how he got his $6 million a year. He went out and played tough hockey, fought everybody he had to. Then he got room. He got room to show off what ability he had. It's a simple equation.
Yeah.
I'm big, I'm strong, I can skate. How do I get room in this league? Oh, be as mean as I can be.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
But some guys are big, but don't have that upstairs.
They don't play big.
Nope.
Chris Kreider, Keandre Miller. Should I keep going?
Well,
all right. Well, I think, you made a great point, and I hate to say it, but, I get it, and I don't want to keep ranting about this, but it really irks the shit out of me because the potential is there. I mean, Chris Kreider could be a fucking, he could be a Shanahan-type player, a Rick Tocchet player, but he's fast. He doesn't have great hands when it comes to passing abilities, but he's got it. But like you said, when you're not, when you're not scoring 5-on-5 and the team needs a lift, you've been around long enough, take the goddamn body, man. Make a body hit. Make a body check and let the crowd go crazy. Look at how they love Cooley. Look at how they love playing when Trouba fucking knocks somebody into next week. They love that shit. And look what it does for your teammates. You have the ability to do it. Do it, for Christ's sakes. Maybe you don't have to do it every fucking single game, all the time, every shift. But God almighty, man, use that body. Make a difference. Anyway, he just irks the shit out of me. Because I feel like he's one of those players that has that potential that you spoke about, just doesn't use it the way he should. I don't know. I'm done. My rants are over.
Well, we're good. I think it was a good show today. We got a lot off our chest. We kind of got a chance to talk about the league a little bit tonight.
Yeah. Well,
now the Rangers are off on a pretty tough 4-game road trip. Vegas, LA, 2 stops right away.
And neither one of them have really been dynamic as of late. So hopefully the Rangers can pick up their game where it was and start getting on a roll and start cleaning up their act defensively, because that's where really they're struggling. With that being said, I got nothing left.
That's it. We're done.
We'll see you in a week. I'm heading to Detroit this weekend. Wish me luck. Get it. Good night, everyone.
See if they have any Kotze jerseys on discount there.
Oh, I'm going to get 3 of them now.